Begin with a slip knot. Chain 27. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continue to 27 chains. I now have 27 chains. Round 1 into the 4th chain from the hook, double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Into that 4th chain, I'll work a double crochet. And to work a double crochet, it's yarn over, insert the hook into that 4th chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook. Continue with double crochets into all chains to the end of the round. I've worked double crochets into all chains. Round 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Here I'm working double crochets into all stitches to the end of the round. So I will not work a double crochet into that first stitch from where the chain 3 comes out of. The chain 3 is considered as a double crochet or a stitch. So it's yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, and you'll continue with double crochets to the end of the round. I've completed round 2 working those double crochets all across. Round 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Into the next stitch, work an unfinished double crochet. So it's yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, leaving the 2 remaining loops on the hook. Now I'll bring in my color, next color, and I'll just form a little loop, pulling in that color to complete my double crochet. And remember, you're always keeping your tail ends on the wrong side. So here's my tail ends on that side, and I'll work 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches using this change of color. So that was 1, 2, 3. So for my 3rd double crochet, I'll leave it unfinished again, and I'll go back and bring in my original color. So here it goes, bring it in from behind and complete that double crochet. And then I'm working 5 double crochets into the next 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here again for my 5th double crochet, I'll leave it unfinished as I'm going to change color for the next polka dot. Now here you see this yarn here, I'll use it to form that first polka dot. So I'll need another strand of yarn for my second polka dot. And because I've got it all ready, it just makes it so much easier. So I'll form that little loop again, and I'll pull it through to complete the double crochet. Remember again, keep all those tail ends at the back, the wrong side. So then, using this change of color, the yarn, I'll work 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2. With my third double crochet, I'll leave it unfinished as I'm changing yarn again. So here it is, all my tail ends at the back. I'm bringing it that original color, and remember, I haven't cut any yarn. Here it is right at the back. I'm just pulling it forward. You can see here, you can see that I just pulled it forward, and I'm doing the same here. So I'm bringing that, pulling forward the original color to complete that third double crochet, and then it's into the next 5 stitches. I'll work 5 double crochets using this original color. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here with my 5th double crochet, I'll leave it unfinished as I'm going to work the last polka dot. So here again, I've got these 2 strands of yarn, and that's for my 2 polka dots, previous polka dots. And here I am going in with my 3rd strand. So again, I'll form that little loop here. Actually, it's like a little fold on the yarn, and I'll bring it in to complete that last double crochet, and then keeping all my tail ends right at the back, I'll work 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. I'll leave that 3rd one unfinished so that I can bring in my original color, and I'll bring that in, and here it goes. And then I'll work 3 double crochets to complete the round. So that's 1, 2, and 3. That 3rd double crochet is worked into the turning chain, the 3rd chain from the turning chain. So here's my round. Round 5, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Work an unfinished double crochet into the next stitch. Now you'll see we're working on our wrong side, and we'll remember to keep our yarn always on this, the tail ends of our yarn on the wrong side. So here into the next stitch, we're working an unfinished double crochet. And then with that strand of yarn from my polka dot, to complete this polka dot, I'll bring it in to complete that stitch. Now here into that next stitch, I'll work a double crochet using this change of color, and watch that I'm making certain that all these raw ends, these tail ends, lie in the back. You can see I'm not pushing it in front of my hook. I'm making certain that it's going behind my hook, so that there aren't any tail ends showing on the right side. So then I'll work that double crochet. That was my first double crochet with the change of color, and then into the next 4 stitches I'll work 4 double crochets. So that's my next one, next, so I've worked 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets with that change of color, and to work my last double crochet I'll work it as an unfinished double crochet. So here it is, and then I'll go back and I'll pick up my original color and thread it through to complete that stitch, and then I'm working 1, 2, 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and for my third double crochet I'll leave it unfinished as I'm picking up yarn for my next polka dot. So here it is unfinished, and from that next polka dot, the strand that I've got, I'll pick up that strand, pull it through to complete my stitch, and then I'm working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches with this change of yarn. And remember, my 5th stitch I'll leave it unfinished. So remember, you're always keeping all these ends to the wrong side, so just be careful with that. Make sure that it's all staying on the wrong side. So that's my 1st stitch, and it's my 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then here's my unfinished 5th double crochet. And then I'll go back and pull over that original yarn, and I'll thread it through to complete the stitch. And then I'm working 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and for this 3rd stitch I'll leave it unfinished as I need to work my last polka dot. So here I am picking up that change of color, and I'll just pull it through, and then I'm working 5 double crochets with this change of color. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And for the 5th one I'll leave it unfinished as I am ending off with my original color. So I'll just pull it through, and then I'm working 2 double crochets into the last 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2. So we're done with round 4, and we can continue with round 5. It's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Into the next 2 stitches, work 2 double crochets. So that's 1, and for my next double crochet I'll work it as an unfinished double crochet. I'll need to change. Remember, I'm picking up this, you'll see here at the back I've got three strands of yarn for the 3 polka dots. Make sure that you're picking the correct strand for the right polka dot. So here's the first one, and I'm picking up on that strand. So I'll thread it through to complete that double crochet, and then with this new strand, new color, change of color, I'll work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. For my 3rd double crochet I'll leave it unfinished, and I'll go back to my original color. And then I'm working 5 double crochets into the next 5 stitches using that original color. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and for my 5th stitch I'll work an unfinished double crochet, and then I'll pick up from that 2nd polka dot. I'll pick up my strand of yarn, bring it through. Always make certain that these tail ends lie at the back of my work, and then it's 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll leave this one unfinished, and I'll go back and pick up on that original color, complete my stitch, and then it's 5 double crochets into the next 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this 5th stitch I'll leave it unfinished as I'll change my color. And then it's 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and I'll leave it unfinished to pick up on my original color. And to complete, it's 3 double crochets to the end. So that's 1, 2, 3. So here I have 3 of these polka dots. Now you'll see that sometimes it does pull a little here, but if you just stretch it out, it should come all right there. So for round 6, it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Here I'm working double crochets into all stitches to the end of the round. Continue to the end of the round. I've completed round 6 working those double crochets all across. Round 7, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Here I'm working double crochets into all stitches. Continue with double crochets to the end of the round. So now you'll see that for my round 3, 4, and 5, the polka dots, you'll see that I've worked 3 of these stitch patterns here. And in my next rounds, round 8, 9, and 10, I'll just work 2. Work them in between those 3. Round 8, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Into the next 6 stitches, work 6 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for my 6th stitch, I'll leave it unfinished. I'll pick up a completely new or separate strand of yarn to work my next polka dot. Here it is, and I'll bring it through, keeping all those tail ends on the wrong side. And then Into the next 3 stitches, I'll work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and for my 3rd stitch, I'll leave it unfinished, and I'll go back, picking up that original color, bringing it through. Into the next 5 double crochets, I'll work 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and for my last stitch, I'll leave it unfinished, and I'll go back and pick up a completely new strand of yarn for my next polka dot. Bring in all those tail ends on the wrong side, and then into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3. For my 3rd stitch, I'll leave it unfinished, and I'll go back to my original color, bringing it forward and bringing it through to complete that stitch. Into the next 7 stitches, work 7 double crochets to complete the round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 into that 3rd chain from the turning chain. So that completes round 8. Round 9, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Into the next 5 stitches, work 5 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for the 5th stitch, I'll leave it unfinished. I'll go back and pick up the strand of yarn, the one from the first polka dot that I'm working with, and I'll pull it through. Into the next 5 stitches, work 5 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and for my 5th stitch, I'll leave it unfinished, go back, picking up my original color, threading it through. Into the next 3 stitches, I'll work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll leave the 3rd one unfinished, and I'll pick up the strand of yarn from the 2nd polka dot. Here it is. I'll bring that through to complete my double crochet. Into the next 5 stitches, work 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll leave this stitch unfinished, and I'll pick up on my original color to complete that stitch. Into the next 6 stitches, work 6 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, completes round 9. And here you see that's our 3 polka dots, and then in between we have the 2. Round 10, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Into the next 6 stitches, work 6 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll leave the stitch unfinished, and here I am picking up on that tail end from the first polka dot, and I'll pull it through into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. For my 3rd stitch, I'll leave it unfinished, go back to that original color, bring it through to complete my stitch. Into the next 5 stitches, work 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll leave that unfinished. I'll go into my second polka dot, the tail end. I'll pick that through and pull it through to complete my stitch. Into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll leave the 3rd stitch unfinished, go back to my original color, bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 7 stitches, work 7 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that completes round 10. Now here after the pattern is, we'll repeat the 2 rounds of double crochet, and then it's go back to round 3, 4, 5, and then you'll repeat round 6 and round 7, and then you'll repeat round 8, 9, and round 10, and you'll be following that sequence throughout. Round 11, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Here we're working double crochets into all stitches to the end of the round. I've completed round 11, working those double crochets all across. Round 12, chain 3 and turn. Here we're working double crochets into all stitches. Continue to the end of the round. I've completed round 12, working those double crochets all across. Now basically this is the pattern sequence. You will go on repeating rounds 3 to round 12 until you have the length you're looking for. So I've continued on and I've repeated the pattern round 3 to round 12, and I've worked the pattern to the length that I wanted my scarf at. So now that I then fastened off, and there's just 2 more things to get done before completing the scarf. On the wrong side of the scarf, all those tail ends need to be woven in. So here, the thing is to weave in this tail end into the same color of the pattern. So you can see here with these colors, I wove in my tail ends into that particular color, and here I'll do the same. Now I've already gone ahead and woven in all those tail ends. It was quite a lot to do. This was just one that I left behind just to show you what you actually do. And it's really easy. You just go in and out into the pattern, like sort of twisting it around. Then you pull it through, and that tail end, that excess tail end, you can trim it off. So I've also gone ahead and put in tassels here. Now that's entirely up to you, but I will show you how I've done that. Now for the tassels at the edges of the scarf, you'll decide on the length that you're looking, and just remember that we will be folding it in half. So this will be the actual length of the tassel. And in my case, I do trim off the edges. So just take note of that. Now to get this, I took my ball of yarn, and every time I need to make a tassel, I'll just bring it to that measurement, and then I'll fold it in half. So I'll just keep track of how many rounds I'm doing so that all my tassels are uniform. So I've done 7 rounds in total. That's it. And then I'll trim it off. So here it is. Now to get them attached to the scarf, you'll see I've already done a few here. What I did was I attached the one to the edge first, and then that was my second one. I found the center and attached the center tassel, and I'll show you how I get on the next 2. So here, with using my hook, and preferably a bigger hook would help as well, I'll just get it into that center in between the stitch, more or less. And so I'll fold that tassel in half, or that length of yarn in half, and then I'll get my hook through that folded edge, and I'll pull it through the scarf. So here it is. And then I'll just bring in all those ends through this, and I'll pull it tight. So here it is. And so what I do at the end is I just cut off all those ends to just neaten it up, and if there are any loops left uncut, I will do that. So here it is, and here's my next one. I'll just find that center point again. And that's done for the tassels, and there you have it, your scarf already.